The Secret Life and Tragic Ending of Elizabeth Montgomery. Elizabeth Montgomery was born Elizabeth Victoria Montgomery on April 15, 1933, in Los Angeles, California, into a family deeply rooted in Hollywood history. Her father, Robert Montgomery, was a celebrated actor and director, well known for his roles in the 1930s and 1940s, and he had a significant influence on Elizabeth's career. Her mother, Elizabeth Daniel Bryan Montgomery, was also a well-respected actress, making Elizabeth's upbringing one surrounded by the glamour and intensity of the entertainment industry. With such notable parents, Elizabeth's early years were steeped in show business, which sparked her own passion for acting at a young age. Elizabeth grew up with two siblings, an older sister, Martha Bryan Montgomery, who tragically died as an infant, and a younger brother, Robert Montgomery Jr. The loss of her sister had a profound effect on Elizabeth and the family, adding layers of emotional complexity to her life. Elizabeth's lineage extended beyond just Hollywood royalty. Her great-grandfather, Archibald Montgomery, was an Irish immigrant who came to the United States in 1849. His journey to America and his legacy of resilience and determination became an essential part of Elizabeth's heritage, tying her to both Irish and Scottish roots. The family history was a mix of cultures and traditions, and this rich cultural background influenced Elizabeth throughout her life, giving her a unique perspective and a deep sense of identity. This heritage also allowed her to connect to a wide range of roles that demanded depth and emotional resonance, traits that would later define her acting career. Montgomery's education was a blend of privileged private schooling and rigorous artistic training. She first attended the Westland School for Girls, an exclusive institution that catered to the children of the Hollywood elite. This environment introduced her to a world of refinement, etiquette, and expectations, yet it also nurtured her growing desire to break out of the conventional roles that society might have placed upon her. Her academic journey continued at the prestigious Spence School in New York City, a school renowned for its academic rigor and cultural sophistication. There, she began to hone her talents in the arts, further preparing herself for a career in acting. After her formal education, she pursued her passion for acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, one of the most respected institutions for theatrical training in the country. It was here that Elizabeth sharpened her craft, learning the nuances of performance that would set her apart in the competitive world of Hollywood. In 1951, at the age of 18, Montgomery made her television debut in her father's anthology series, Robert Montgomery Presents. This marked the beginning of her journey into the public eye, though it was only a taste of the widespread fame she would later achieve. Her early experience on her father's show allowed her to refine her on-screen presence and gain valuable experience in a professional setting, yet it also came with the challenge of stepping out of her father's shadow. Determined to carve her own path, she sought roles that showcased her versatility and talent. Her first major role in the theater came in 1953 with the play Late Love, for which she received critical acclaim. Her performance was so captivating that it earned her a Theatre World Award, an impressive achievement for a young actress. This stage success established her as a force to be reckoned with, demonstrating her ability to transition from television to live theater with ease. Montgomery's stage work was instrumental in honing the emotional depth and range that she would later bring to her television and film roles. In 1955, Montgomery made her film debut in The Court-Martial of Billy Mitchell, directed by the legendary Otto Preminger. The film, based on the real-life court-martial of General Billy Mitchell, starred some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Gary Cooper, Charles Bickford, and Ralph Bellamy. Montgomery's role in the film was a stepping stone in her career, introducing her to the world of cinema and allowing her to work with top-tier directors and actors. The historical drama, focused on Mitchell's controversial stance on air power and his clashes with military authorities, provided a platform for Montgomery to prove that she could handle complex, serious roles early in her career. Despite her early successes in theater and film, it was her role as Samantha Stevens in the television series Bewitched, 1964–1972, that catapulted Elizabeth Montgomery to worldwide fame. The show was a massive hit, blending comedy, fantasy, and family themes, and it quickly became one of the most beloved series of the 1960s and early 1970s. Montgomery's portrayal of Samantha, a witch who tries to live a normal suburban life with her mortal husband, Darren, was charming and relatable, making her one of television's most enduring icons. The show's success ran for 8 seasons, and Montgomery's performance earned her numerous award nominations, including several Primetime Emmy Award and Golden Globe nominations. Her role as Samantha allowed her to showcase not only her comedic timing but also her ability to portray warmth and kindness, qualities that resonated deeply with audiences. Although Bewitched was her most famous role, Elizabeth Montgomery's career extended far beyond the confines of this iconic sitcom. After the show ended in 1972, she worked tirelessly to break free from the typecasting that often follows actors from such iconic roles. She appeared in several made-for-TV movies, many of which allowed her to tackle more serious and dramatic material. In A Case of Rape, 1974, she delivered a harrowing performance as a woman seeking justice after being sexually assaulted, a role that earned her critical acclaim and demonstrated her range as an actress. She continued to push boundaries with roles in A Killing Affair, 1977, Art of Violence, 1979, The Rules of Marriage, 1982, and Black Widow Murders, 1993. Each of these projects displayed a different facet of her acting abilities, allowing her to grow artistically while continuing to engage audiences. In addition to her TV movies, Montgomery made numerous guest appearances on popular television series. Shows like Frontier Circus, 1961, Checkmate, 1962, and 77 Sunset Strip, 1963, featured her in a variety of roles, often allowing her to experiment with different genres and styles of acting. These guest spots were instrumental in keeping her career dynamic and versatile, as she refused to be pigeonholed into any one type of character. In the final years of her life, she also lent her voice to an episode of Batman, the animated series, where she voiced a villainous character in one of her last performances. This posthumous release became a poignant reminder of her enduring talent. Elizabeth Montgomery was more than just the beloved star of the classic TV show Bewitched. She was also a committed advocate for social justice and political activism. One of her most passionate causes was women's rights, an issue she actively supported throughout her life. At a time when the feminist movement was gaining momentum in the 1960s and 1970s, Montgomery used her platform as a prominent figure in Hollywood to promote equality for women. She was an outspoken advocate for reproductive rights, equal pay, and gender equality in the workplace. Her advocacy wasn't just limited to public statements. She also supported organizations and movements that fought for women's empowerment, using her fame to highlight the importance of women's autonomy in a world dominated by male authority. In addition to her dedication to women's rights, Montgomery was also an ardent supporter of LGBTQ+ rights during a period when such advocacy was far from mainstream. Her work on behalf of gay rights was particularly significant at a time when many in the entertainment industry were reluctant to publicly associate with the cause. Montgomery, however, was fearless in her support. In June 1992, she and her Bewitched co-star Dick Sargent, who had come out as gay, served as grand marshals for the Los Angeles Gay Pride Parade. Their participation in such a high-profile event was a bold statement of solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community, affirming her commitment to equal rights for all, regardless of sexual orientation. This act, along with her public stance, endeared her to many who were fighting for LGBTQ+ equality and further cemented her legacy as a pioneer for social justice in Hollywood. Montgomery was also deeply involved in the fight against AIDS, another cause close to her heart. In the 1980s, the AIDS epidemic ravaged communities across the U.S., particularly among gay men, and the stigma surrounding the disease was profound. Many public figures avoided discussing the issue, but Montgomery took a different approach. She actively supported AIDS awareness and activism, working with organizations that provided education, support, and medical care to those affected by the disease. Her advocacy helped to reduce the stigma around AIDS and to raise funds for research and treatment. This activism became one of the defining elements of her later life, showing that she was not just an actress but a true humanitarian who used her fame for the greater good. Her political involvement extended even further into controversial territory with her participation in 2 politically charged documentaries. In 1988, Montgomery lent her voice as the narrator to Cover Up, Behind the Iran-Contra Affair, which delved into the secret and illegal operations carried out by the U.S. government during the Reagan administration. The documentary challenged the official narrative of the Iran-Contra scandal, accusing government officials of deceit and wrongdoing. 4 years later, Montgomery narrated The Panama Deception, an even more controversial film that criticized the U.S. invasion of Panama in 1989. The film argued that the military action was unjustified and exposed the manipulation of the media in shaping public opinion about the invasion. The Panama Deception went on to win the Academy Award for Best Documentary, and Montgomery's role in the film demonstrated her willingness to speak truth to power, regardless of the potential backlash. In her personal life, Elizabeth Montgomery had several high-profile relationships and marriages, many of which were the subject of public fascination. In 1954, she married New York City socialite Frederick Gallatin Cammon, but their union was short-lived, lasting less than a year. Following her divorce, she married Academy Award-winning actor Gig Young in 1956. Their marriage was tumultuous, and it ended in divorce in 1963. Later that year, Montgomery married director-producer William Asher, with whom she had a long and seemingly stable marriage. Together, they had 3 children: William A. Asher, Robert Asher, and Rebecca Asher. Interestingly, her pregnancies with Robert and Rebecca were written into the storyline of Bewitched, with her character, Samantha Stevens, also becoming a mother to Tabitha and Adam Stevens. This blending of real life and fiction created an intimate connection between Montgomery and her audience, as viewers watched her family grow both on-screen and off. However, during the 8th season of Bewitched, Montgomery's personal life took a dramatic turn. She fell in love with the show's director, Richard Michaels, leading to an affair that eventually ended both of their marriages. This romantic involvement also contributed to the end of Bewitched in 1972, after 8 successful seasons. Montgomery and Michaels moved in together after the show concluded, but their relationship lasted only 2.5 years before they parted ways. Despite the end of their romance, Montgomery continued to seek fulfillment in her personal life, and in 1993, she married actor Robert Foxworth. The couple had been together for nearly 20 years before officially tying the knot, and they remained married until her death in 1995. Montgomery's life was not without its scandals and rumors, including an affair with Russian ballet dancer Alexander Godunov while she was living with Foxworth but before their marriage. Godunov tragically passed away on May 18, 1995, the same day that Montgomery died, though it is believed he had died several days earlier. The eerie coincidence of their deaths added an air of mystery to her final days. Throughout her life, Elizabeth Montgomery maintained strong ties to her roots, frequently referencing Paterson, New York, on Bewitched. The small town in Putnam County was where the Montgomery family had a homestead, and it was a place of fond memories for the actress, as she spent her childhood summers there. Even as she became a household name in Hollywood, she remained connected to her family's farmhouse on Cushman Road, where her mother later lived. This deep connection to her family and her heritage was a constant in Montgomery's life, even as she pursued a career that took her far from her rural beginnings. In her final years, Montgomery dedicated herself to a wide range of charitable causes, demonstrating her lifelong commitment to making the world a better place. She became involved with Learning Alley, a nonprofit organization that provides educational resources for people with learning disabilities. In 1994, she produced several radio and television public service announcements for the organization's Los Angeles unit, and in January 1995, she recorded an audiobook version of A. A. Milne's classic When We Were Very Young for Learning Alley. Her work with the organization reflected her passion for education and her desire to help those who were often overlooked by society. On June 3, 1995, just 16 days after Elizabeth Montgomery's passing, the Los Angeles unit of Learning Ally, an organization dedicated to providing accessible reading materials to those with learning disabilities, honored her in a deeply meaningful way. The group dedicated its 1995 record-a-thon to Montgomery, an event designed to create audiobooks for those with visual impairments and other challenges. To mark the occasion, 21 well-known celebrities participated, lending their voices to the recording of the inspirational book Chicken Soup for the Soul, a popular collection of heartwarming stories. This book, known for its messages of hope, compassion, and healing, was also dedicated to Montgomery's memory, symbolizing the love and inspiration she brought to the world, not only through her career but also through her personal grace and quiet acts of philanthropy. Montgomery's involvement with various charitable causes, including her work with Learning Alley, had long been a reflection of her dedication to helping others, making the tribute a fitting and heartfelt way to celebrate her legacy. For many years, Montgomery privately battled cancer, a struggle that took a tremendous toll on her but which she faced with the same strength and determination she was known for in her life. Her illness became more severe during the production of Deadline for Murder, from the files of Edna Buchanan, a crime drama in which she played the lead role. Although she had been experiencing flu-like symptoms, she brushed them off, remaining focused on completing the film. This was typical of Montgomery's work ethic. Despite her growing discomfort, she insisted on finishing the project and delivered a strong performance, masking her pain from both the cast and crew. It wasn't until late March 1995, after filming had wrapped, that Montgomery's symptoms could no longer be ignored. By the time she sought medical attention, it was tragically too late. The cancer had spread from her colon to her liver, an advanced stage that left little room for medical intervention. Her doctors were blunt: the disease was terminal. With no chance of recovery and unwilling to spend her final days confined to a hospital room, Montgomery made the deeply personal decision to return to the Beverly Hills home she shared with her husband, actor Robert Foxworth. It was a house filled with memories, love, and the serenity she sought in her last moments. Surrounded by her family and in the privacy of her cherished home, she faced her final days with dignity and resolve. On the morning of May 18, 1995, Elizabeth Montgomery passed away peacefully, just 8 weeks after her devastating diagnosis. She was only 62 years old, and her death marked the end of a life that had left a profound impact on those who knew her and millions of fans around the world. 1 month after her death, on June 18, 1995, a memorial service was held in her honor at the Cannon Theater in Beverly Hills. The service was intimate yet filled with notable figures from Hollywood and beyond, reflecting Montgomery's wide-ranging influence both within the entertainment industry and in her personal life. The renowned jazz musician Herbie Hancock performed at the service, adding a soulful and emotional backdrop to the tribute. Dominic Dunne, a longtime friend of Montgomery's, delivered a moving speech about their early friendship, reminiscing about their days living in New York City. His words captured the essence of her charm, wit, and kindness, characteristics that had drawn many people to her throughout her life. Robert Foxworth, Montgomery's widower, spoke about her last days and read aloud sympathy cards sent by fans from all over the world, a testament to the love and admiration that continued to pour in after her passing. Others who spoke included Montgomery's nurse, her brother, her daughter, and her stepson, each offering their personal reflections on her life and the impact she had on those close to her. It was a poignant gathering, filled with both tears and laughter, as friends and family celebrated her life, her career, and her generous spirit. Following her cremation, Montgomery's remains were interred at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, a final resting place she shares with many other Hollywood legends. The small, serene cemetery is often visited by fans, who come to pay their respects to the actress who had touched so many lives through her iconic roles, especially as the beloved Samantha Stevens on Bewitched. Elizabeth Montgomery also held on to her roots in New York, maintaining her parents' home in Paterson, Putnam County. The expansive 20-acre estate was a peaceful retreat, reflecting her love for nature and privacy, far from the hustle of Hollywood. After her death, the property was sold to John and Jill Carell. The land, with its rolling hills and tranquil scenery, was once part of a larger area that would later be incorporated into Wonder Lake State Park. This connection to nature and her deep ties to the estate further highlighted Montgomery's desire for a simple, peaceful existence outside of her public persona, a side of her that friends and family knew well. The sale of the estate marked the end of an era, but her connection to the land remained as a quiet legacy, interwoven with the beauty and serenity that she cherished in life.